And the title of the statement is Stop These Sand Cartels Before They Stop All of Us. Greetings and Merry Christmas to each one of you. I have called you here to help me sound and amplify the alarm on an imminent environmental disaster in our county that threatens to throw all of us and future generations into a bottomless pit of poverty and servitude. The blatant scooping and subsequent sale of sand from seasonal rivers in Kitui County by a cartel of extremely proud and selfish individuals masquerading as business people has crossed the red line. The insatiable greed for primitive accumulation of wealth at the expense of hundreds of thousands of people in our county is the loudest call to action for the leadership of our county and indeed the leadership of our country. Truth be told, Kitui County is a largely arid and semi-arid region, but the unregulated sand harvesting scam is pushing our county into a desert at an alarming rate. And this is where I draw the line between what is good for the sake of managing political relationships and what is good for the people I represent in the Senate and indeed the common good of all of us. Whenever there is a conflict between political correctness and the interests of the people of Kitui County, I will effortlessly choose to stand on the side of the people. Enough is enough. This selfish and irresponsible exercise, being clothed with business attire, must stop if we are going to save our county from an imminent environmental catastrophe. Our fathers handed us a county blessed with rich silver riverbanks. From Tiva River in Kitui Rural to the River in Kitui West. From Kiromboko River in Mwingi West to Mwanya River in Mwingi Central. Those riverbanks and many more all of our county are today barren riverbeds. The sand has been replaced with soil, and just like that, livelihoods have been destroyed. Entire communities have no access to river water, making life extremely difficult for human beings and their livestock. When these cartels descend on the rivers to scoop sand and enrich themselves, they compromise a few community leaders and river users association officials. They lie to a section of the community that they have created jobs for the youth who load the trucks for peanuts. They lie to our people that they are doing business together. But in reality, they are robbing us and future generations of our livelihood. They don't pay cess to the county government of Kitui. But in between the rivers and the cess points, there are shadowy circles which collect up to 6,000 shillings from every truck, but issue a receipt of 1,000 shillings per truck to be produced at the cess points as evidence of payment and get a waiver for the payment of cess. It is a blatant rip-off of our county resources by the closely knit and dangerous cartel. At this point, the people of Kitui County have a right to know, one, how many trucks have been registered to ferry sand from our rivers? What are the specific registration numbers of the said trucks? What is the actual load for each truck to mitigate the damage to our roads? Who collects the 6,000 shillings from each truck? And why is it that only 1,000 shillings is receipted? What happens to the balance of 5,000 shillings? For the last 1 year, how much revenue has the county government of Kitui raised from sand harvesting? And lastly, how much of this revenue has been plowed back to restore the riverbeds and the damaged roads leading to the rivers? The thoughtlessness with which our rivers are being defiled and the public display of arrogance by the cartels is mind-boggling. What shall we bequeath our children and our children's children? To its credit, the County Assembly of Kitui has done well to enact a law to regulate sand harvesting in our county. The Kitui County River Basin's Sand Utilization and Conservation Act of 2023 is a laudable attempt by the Assembly to instill sanity and create order in a very critical sector of our economy. It may not be a perfect piece of legislation, but it is a good place to start. At the national level, the Environmental Management and Coordination Act, EMCA, gives clear and proper guidelines on riparian zone protection, a clear effort to translate global aspirations into national action. We in Kitui County are bound by this law. There are several other national laws, international conventions, and additional protocols, all aimed at conserving our environment and preventing desertification. But law or no law, it is evident to all of us that our riverbeds are being irreparably destroyed. It will be important for the county executive of Kitui to tell us what measures have been put in place to regulate sand harvesting in our county and conserve our riparian ecosystems. For the avoidance of doubt, and this is important, I'm fully aware of the inherent dangers that I'm exposing myself and my family to from the sand cartels. But as a leader, I refuse to hide behind self-preservation and personal comfort, as an entire county is suffocated under the merciless grip of racketeers out to snap away life from all of us. You'll soon see them and their agents attacking me on social media and even physically for daring to stand in their way of bloody money. I say to them, bring it on. I am ready to pay the ultimate price to secure our county. And in this journey, I am not alone. I do not need to name the racketeers now because they will soon come out fighting. You will know them. But I want to give them and their agents this blessed assurance. For as long as I have life in my body, I will firmly and fearlessly show up for my county and for the welfare of our environment, for the present and for future generations. I am calling on every citizen of Kitui County who appreciates the value of conserving our rivers and is keen on standing out to be counted among the people ready to fight for our rights, to do whatever is legally within their means to bring this nonsense to an end. We must rid our roads of the monster semi-trailers ferrying away our future in the name of doing business. These racketeers cleared our forests by way of the illegal charcoal burning activities. Now they have turned their greed on our rivers. Enough is enough. We must stop them, or they will stop all of us. I thank you. I'm ready to respond to any questions.
Now that the county government of Kitui passed a bill some few months ago regulating about the sand harvesting, it is actually a law. Yeah, it's a law. So have you inquired the position of the Kitui county government, their position on the sand harvesting stand, and maybe what to take? Maybe your advice to the county government of Kitui on matters concerning the sand harvesting in Kitui county?
Thank you very much. As you've heard me say, I have appreciated the County Assembly for passing that piece of legislation. And I think for them, they have done their work. It is now for the executive to implement the law as is. I do not need to ask anyone what they have done, because if they do anything, it will be seen. And the first evidence of action will be a reduction on the number of trucks that are ferrying sand from our rivers. From the time that the law was passed to date, I was in Mwingi last night, deliberately. I was in Mwingi, I went all the way to Ukasi, and I decided to stay there until late. So I drove this way late. And I counted not less than 30 trucks between Okasi and here. So I don't need to ask them what they have done, because if they have done anything, then the impact has not been felt on the ground. Yes.
Yes. Senate, I think we need to appreciate your intention to come out to talk about this issue, because it's an issue which is affecting the society, the environment. But listening to your statement, unless imenipita, sijasikia clearly. You've narrated very well about the discussion on sand harvesting, on rivers and all that. But we need to hear from you as the senator of Kitui County. What exactly you want those who are concerned to do about sand harvesting?
Okay.
Number two, sand harvesting has been there happening in Kitui, in Kuen, Machakos. But of course, there are rampant cases of sand harvesting, which cause destruction to rivers, environment. Sasa wewe mwenyewe, you have declared your aspiration to be the next governor for this country. So sand harvesting being one of the key issues that needs to be addressed. What would your administration do different to curb this menace?
Okay. Thank you, Philip. Yes, please.
Senator, I've heard your speech. My question is, I think you have called the government to stop the conduct the destruction. But if they will, they don't stop. As of tonight, what is your next step?
Okay. Good questions. One, as to what I want people to do, the stakeholders, as it were, to do. One, there is a law that has been passed by the County Assembly. I think the easiest place would be to begin by implementing that law as is, and to make sure that the sector is properly regulated. You know, you get a feeling that sector is so chaotic that anybody who has a truck and sees a river and there is sand, just drive there, scoop sand, do it with it as you please. The reason for the enactment of that law was regulate that sector and to make sure that we stop the destruction of our riverbeds and do proper sand harvesting. Now let me explain that. When you go to harvest fruits in your farm, you don't cut down the trees. You select the ripe fruits for the market. You leave the other fruits on the tree for another day. When they ripen, you pick, you take to the market. Now that is harvesting. It is the same with rivers. The scooping of sand from rivers should be systematic. And sand should be scooped up to a certain level, regulated by law, which is in place, and with proper personnel to manage. The river users associations are supposed to do exactly that, to make sure that sand is not scooped beyond a certain level. But you guys just came here a few minutes ago. I want to challenge you. I can go with you when you're going back to Kabati. The river that I'm calling Elekele, the one that you have crossed here, that river is now bare. It's soil, it's soil. People have scooped all the sand that there was to be scooped. There is no sand anymore. I don't know what will happen to repair that damage. So that is one. That's what I want people to do. To stop cutting fruit trees and harvest the fruits and leave the unripe fruits and the tree to continue feeding us, all of us. I want the sand to be harvested systematically. I'm not saying we should not harvest sand. No, it's a source of revenue for our county. But let it be done in a way that is sustainable, in a way that brings value to us, and it adds to our own source revenue. Now it doesn't. Now it's going to people's pockets, it's destroying livelihoods, and as I said, we are soon becoming a desert, Philip and my colleagues. Our trees are gone, the charcoal burning. Now the rivers, we don't know what they are going to come for after the rivers. So we must, as I said, it's a call to action. Now, the second limb of your question is a tricky one about, did you say if I become or when I become? No, those are two different things. Is it if I become senator or when I become senator? I don't know. Oh, governor, yeah. Now, first of all, I'm not here to speak about my political aspirations. I'm here to speak as the senator of Kitui County, because in 2022 the people of Kitui elected me to do exactly what I'm doing today, to speak for and on their behalf. God giving me an opportunity to serve the people of Kitui as their governor, when that happens, I want to assure you, and you can record me and play that clip when it happens. You will not see this kind of nonsense under my administration. It's just utter nonsense. That's what it is. You will not see it. We can't have a situation where people just come and take away resources belonging to our citizens, our county. They go and enrich themselves. And these people have become so arrogant, good people. These people have become so arrogant. In fact, let me tell you why I decided to call this press conference. One of them, the other day, spoke in public and said, I do very bad business and nobody can touch me. I said, did that man just say that? So they know what they are doing is not good business. And they are thinking nobody can touch them? Then they are wrong. Philip and colleagues, personally, as the senator of Kitui County, I'm ready to fight this battle. As I said in this statement, and I mean it, I'm ready to pay the ultimate price. If that is what we must pay for these people to know that this resource belongs to the people of Kitui County. Then secondly, ask yourself, so every truck that goes to the river, it comes out, there are circles, I don't know, circles collecting 6,000 shillings from every truck. Now, after they give 6,000 shillings, they are given a receipt of 1,000 shillings. Now, when they go to the cess collection points and they show the 1,000 shillings receipt, now that's a waiver for cess. But nobody knows, first of all, these 1,000 shillings, does it go to the county government of Kitui? They should tell us. These 5,000 shillings, where does it go? Whose money is it? How much money? The last time I checked, we're collecting so little as a county from these trucks. And you know for sure. In fact, the abuse of sand harvesting in Kitui County, if the collections were to go to the county government, it could be one of the biggest sources of revenue for the county government. And then the most critical question is, even the little that is collected, how does it go back to the rivers where the sand has been harvested to restore the riverbeds and repair the roads that lead to the rivers? The questions.
I know there are other bodies that can regulate these manners of sand harvesting or other sand scooping, like we have NEMA in place. Do you think there is laxity among the maybe officials of the body? Because I know that in Kitui we have the director of NEMA in collaboration with the county government of Kitui. Do you think there is a role that the NEMA should play to curb these manners?
Good question. And you know me, you guys, you have worked with me. You know my weakness is that I say things as here. Yes.
The laxity to implement the existing law by the county executive. Maybe does it mean the county executive is part of the sand cartels?
You know, let's call a spade what it is. Let's just call it a spade. This is a cartel involving a lot of sectors, a lot of people. NEMA is always very keen. If you have like a small little function somewhere, they will insist that you pay some fee for noise pollution. You know, an event, even a party for children. I have one that's coming up in a few days. They want you to pay a fee for noise pollution. I wonder where is NEMA when our riverbeds are becoming barren? Where are they? They can only be in one place. They can only be part of this cartel. They can't be anywhere else. Well, I mean, that they live in Kitui, they see what's happening. They must be complicit on this one. And if they are not, then they should prove to us what they have done to stop it. Secondly, on the question of the county government of Kitui, I mean, the law is the law. It's binding. It's not a suggestion. I mean, when the assembly passed the law, they were not suggesting things. They were giving direction. This is what you should do. To the extent that the county government of Kitui has not implemented the law, they are also complicit. That's what it is. I mean, let's not mince words. This thing, I'm told it involves big names. You know, I don't know what big names are. Big names, you know, untouchables. We'll touch them. Let them do what they have to do. You have to stop it. And that's what I'm saying. It is now the responsibility of every citizen of this county, including yourselves and myself and every other person, to do whatever is legally possible to stop these things, including even organizing citizen arrests, impounding those trucks and driving them to police stations and demanding that they stop doing this thing until there is proper regulation on how this sand is being scooped. That must happen. People must be seen to want to protect the environment, because the institutions that are supposed to protect it are not protecting it. The institutions that are supposed to protect our rivers are in cahoots, are working in cahoots with the sand harvesters to mess up our rivers. So citizens, I mean, we have to do what we have to do. There are laws that allow us to do certain things. We can be able to do that, and there's no problem with that.
So my concern, maybe I didn't listen keenly. What's the relationship between these, you are talking about, what do you call them, cartels? Are they related to the county government executive? To us, as far as you are taking
No, I don't want to define those relationships. What I know is that the cartels are operating in Kitui, and in Kitui there is a county government, and there's a law protecting the rivers. So now it's now for people to decide whether the county government is part of this, but they operate here. The cartels operate here. There's a government here. Unless you are telling me that we don't have a government in Kitui, we do. They are here. So they should be the ones telling us what have they done to stop this thing. Good people, this thing is not an easy thing. It can be very annoying. When you see those trucks, you know, fuatana yani kama 20, you know, and what do they leave at the source? How much money do they leave at the source? How much money are they paying those young people that they are saying they are doing business? No, they lie to them. You know, we are doing business with you. What business are you doing with us? You're just here to scoop our sand and leave us with our problems and go to the next river and do the same. What business are you doing with us?
So, Senator, this pressure is one of the ways you can advance the discussion, because these media houses are going to tell you the story to take it further. But I'm just curious, as the senator of Kitui County, at your level as the senator, and the county government of Kitui, which includes the executive and the assembly, I'm just curious to know whether you have maybe written to them to demand answers about some of those things, and possibly what is their response is, or do you plan to write to them or to inquire from them?
And maybe before you respond to that, this is your hit here, the senator of Kitui County. Probably I never did a story about you fighting about sand scooping and all sand harvesting. Why?
Why now? Thank you. I will tell you the why now. First of all, there is a matter before the Senate on sand harvesting. And I've been waiting for the conclusion of that matter for far too long. I'm tired. I can't wait anymore. Secondly, what I have not told you is that in discharge of my obligation as the Senator of Kitui County under Article 96 of the Constitution on oversight, two things have happened. One, remember when we started doing oversight activities on health, dispensaries and all that, and the governor got very agitated and declared that he does not want to be oversighted by a single senator. He wants to be oversighted in the Senate. I took the challenge. I think the governor of Kitui, and you can check the records, has appeared before the Senate to respond to audit issues and oversight issues many more times than any other governor in the Republic of Kenya. You can look at the records. So to answer your question, I'm not writing to him. I'm not writing to the county government of Kitui. This matter will have to be done from the Senate, because that's where they are comfortable dealing with oversight issues. And I think it's even more effective that way, so that the people also know, everybody knows what is happening. Now, we are in the process of compiling data. That's how we got this information. from different units operating within the county government, within the county of Kitui. And one of those units is the Kenya National Highways Authority. You know the other way bridge at Kanyonyo. So actually they're the ones who have delayed this presser. This should have happened several months ago. We have kept asking them for some details that we thought they should provide. For whatever reason, whether it's because they are compromised or I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they have decided they cannot share certain information with us concerning the trucks. And so we have said, okay, fine. Then we'll use an alternative way of getting our information about the trucks. So there is a report that's coming out very soon on focusing on sand harvesting. And that report, I can tell you for free, it's going to shock a lot of people. The kind of things that happen here, they're just amazing things. So the report is being worked on. I've been waiting for that missing link from the Kenya National Highways Authority. And I thought under the law, people are entitled to access to information. And then the Constitution allows people to access publicly held information by public institutions. Now this Kenya that is operating in Kitui is a different animal. They don't share information. No, he said, no, the reason why they say they cannot share the information was one, they cited the data protection law. I was part of the team that drafted the data protection law. The data protection law is not in conflict with the Constitution or the freedom of access to information. So that is just an excuse, a very lame excuse. Secondly, they said they are unable to tell the trucks that pass through their point, the ones that come from Masinga, which is in Makueni, no, in Machakos, and the others that come from the other side of Kitui. So they wouldn't be able to differentiate that data and tell us which trucks come from where. But I told them, I mean, that information, if we receive it, we'll process it. They're not willing to share that information. So we are using our own means to get the numbers, the lorries, the owners of the lorries, and it's public information. We'll share it with the public.